Hello everyone, this is Ask Joshi with yet another Marvel Rivals map guide. This time it's for the Symbiotic surface on Klyntar, which is a Convergence map. That means the attacking team shown here will need to capture a point and then push a payload for 2 more checkpoints in order to win the map. It is possible, while our attackers are coming down this main thoroughfare, that defenders will be pushed up pretty far. They might be in these little nooks and crannies off to the left and right side. As a tank main myself, I usually play Thor. I usually tell the team, hey, just follow me. We're going to take the right side entry over to the point instead, because it is a very long walk and they have so much open air to try to eliminate you in that first hallway that we showed. This right side path actually will be less contested most of the time. Something unique to this map are these sort of symbiotic masses that you can actually attack and just shoot a single time, and they'll do something like expand a wall or a bridge across an interesting space and create new sort of paths for you and your team to take. That is something that is going to be difficult to illustrate here, but you can definitely experiment as you're playing and just attack those black masses as you see fit to try to create some new paths. Here I'm just showing some health packs. There is one off to the left side for attackers to make use of, or if you're a defender and you need to fall back, you can grab that health pack. There's also one off to the side that we did see just a moment ago. If you're taking that far right attack angle, you can fall back to that health pack, although it is quite far from the point itself. Defenders will want to post up anywhere that they get a full sight line, but still are in range of the point so that they don't get jumped. There is this wide open window here that range characters like Hela or Punisher can make use of, and this wall is actually destructible as well. It's hard to see exactly where it is, but if you just line it up with the tall 2 boxes here, you can actually break down this wall. Don't forget that you can actually hold B while you're in-game. That is the default key to see destructible terrain as well. I cannot do it in spectator mode, unfortunately, but there are a lot of these little masses that you can shoot and a lot of destructible walls and objects around this area to help defend or attack, including this lift, this wall extension, and more. So once this point is captured by the attacking team, the defenders, we're going to show their original spawn first. You can actually see the silhouette all the way back here. So we're going to show what I think is the quickest route to defend this first point. Here is the very first defender spawn. As you can see, there's really not much option for you. You could go left or right, and I think right, you can see actually the silhouettes sort of through the walls here. This is the fastest path that I'm aware of to get to the point with pretty much any character, and it spits you out right here, which is a really good angle for you to try to defend anyone coming in from here or the high ground or this right side. This corner specifically is destructible, so if you want to open it up even more, you can do so. There is that health pack that you can fight over down here, and one off to the left that we already showed, but once that payload has started, the spawns will move. There's another health pack right there. Inside this room is sort of just another way for you to attack. Get back to the payload quickly. And more health packs, basically on either side of the cart path itself. 2 of them are in very close proximity right here, so make sure to note that. Pretty early on in the payload push. There are several more of these masses that you can activate to try to help open up some paths. Here's one deep on the right side, but you typically want to just take high ground as attackers. This is an interesting jump pad because it actually sends you across rather than just straight up. A lot of these walls are destructible as well, so be wary of new sight lines being created. And that is just the defender's line there. That is not actually the payload path. The path actually just continues up this broad street here. Some interesting terrain to look at. This map actually does look very cool. Here's another mass that just creates a bridge across if you just shoot it one time. Health packs are actually kind of tough to locate here if you're actually scrambling to find one. They're typically on the low ground, not on the high ground. So again, just like on Shin-shibuya, if you're ever in trouble, you're going to want to go to ground and not up. Defenders on this first stretch of payload are actually pretty far away. They're tucked all the way into this little mountainside cave. If you fly right through this rock, you actually spawn in this little cave. You run out here, and then you have the option of running left or right to try to reach the payload, which will be trying to get to this door right on the other side of it. If the payload actually reaches this circle, that that will add time for them and start the next checkpoint. So attackers will have to go through this last area. There's a lot of terrain on the left and the right. There's really not a lot of great terrain to stand on for defenders. There's a health pack here to the far right. So just be aware, flankers actually do a pretty good job here. Hela and other sniper sort of characters like Hawkeye can be hidden up in these mushrooms, so it can be kind of tough to get to them if you're not playing those very highly mobile characters. Again, more of these black masses that you can shoot and create new bridges across for yourself as well. So health packs sort of far and few between them. Not a whole lot of options for self-healing, so you're going to want to play with your team as much as possible. There's a lot of these side nooks and crannies, again, with a health pack tucked in there, but they're pretty far from the payload itself. So attackers will be moved up checkpoint-wise. Their spawns will be a bit closer this time, as they spawn in this room now. And they'll be running forward to try to reach their payload and get it pushing as often as possible. One of the most common routes actually is just this direct route through the left side. You can actually destroy these barrels and hop through this gap. If the payload is pushed far enough, you can actually take this underneath channel and approach it from the side here, or go all the way to this area where the payload will often get choked up by defenders on the corner. Corners are, of course, great for defenders to post up, especially anyone with a shield, and healers. You can stay sort of as a ball together and defend this super long hallway. Once again, this payload has to go a really long way. One thing about this sort of cave here is that Moon Knight's ultimate will actually drop through that terrain, and some other ultimates will sort of ignore this ceiling, so just be aware of that as you're attacking or defending. A lot of these mushrooms can be destroyed as well. Defenders will often feel like they want to post up right here on this cliff because their last spawn is in this room. The rock will open up, and then they'll have a left, middle, or right side path to be able to try to defend high ground from here. Long-range characters love this spot. They also love this spot. And attackers can actually block off this path. It can be beneficial for attackers to attack this mass specifically because it will create a wall here and shut them off from that angle. They'll have to figure out a way over the rocks instead. Now, this is actually the final stretch of where the payload needs to get to. It's a little misleading because it actually doesn't need to go that far. It doesn't even have to go all the way under the arch. So sometimes defenders will be a little lax on actually defending because they think they've got more room than they actually do. So if you're an attacker and you get a multi-kill here, just try to finish the game as hard as you can, because this is basically the home stretch. This is going to be the toughest area to try to attack through. So there are, of course, lots of other angles and paths. This is sort of a windy maze of a payload map. Not a lot of high ground, but a lot of sort of horizontal movement from the left side to the right side is possible. So we're just going to soar through the map one more time, sort of go down that payload path, but that is essentially it for this map. Pretty obvious sight lines for high ground characters to take down this super long hallway, for example, but the addition of the terrain blockers does make this map somewhat unique. And some characters that I would recommend actually are Iron Fist, because he does have really, really good movement, and Spider-Man, if you've got the hang of the web swinging, can be very, very useful here on Klyntar as well. And that's about it for the Symbiote surface. I hope that they do more maps here on Klyntar because the terrain is very cool, and I do like the addition of the changeable terrain in addition to the breakable terrain. If you found this guide useful, I hope that you'll like, subscribe, and reply, all the usual things, and stick around for more map guides from Marvel Rivals, as well as highlights and other things related to the game. I appreciate you watching, and I'll catch you next time.